Thanks to HubSpot for sponsoring this video.
Imagine being in your 30s, looking back with zero regrets, having a bulging bank account and having memories that are priceless. What if I told you that there is a clear method to set you ahead of the pack? Your 20s is the perfect time to explore, take risks and lay the groundwork for your 30s and beyond. In this video, I'll be covering 6 important pillars that I think you should follow to build a good financial base in your 20s. Make sure to subscribe to my newsletter if you haven't already. My favorite part of my newsletter is that I share links to interesting things. I share experiences and things that I'm working on, so make sure to check it out. Pillar 1, focus on building skills, not just making fast money. So your 20s, I think, is the perfect time to spend time actually learning skills that will help you, high income skills that will help you in the future. I've actually done a video recently on high income skills. It's the most popular video on the channel. The aim is that when you're in your 20s, you don't really have that many responsibilities. You can take a bit more risk. You have quite a bit more time as well. That is the best time to learn high income skills. That is the best time to sort of develop yourself and learn skills that can really help you in the future. We are so blessed with free resources out there. YouTube, of course, is one of the main ones. There's even this amazing little thing called Google that you can use just to search anything. And of course, you can even use ChatGPT and other AI tools to help you learn stuff as well. I feel like in this digital age, this sort of internet era that we're living in, the playing field is more level than ever. I mean, obviously it's not always fair, but life isn't fair. So you just got to accept it. Sometimes things aren't fair, but there's more ways to grow your skill set than ever before. I spent my late teens and my early 20s learning design and development, learning how to make websites, learning how to design apps, learning how to just design stuff and make stuff on the internet. And I learned all of this for free. I couldn't afford to buy any courses. I couldn't afford to do stuff like that because I didn't really have any money. I had to use the free resources that are available online to learn these skills. I remember I was building websites without even knowing HTML and CSS. I would simply take like a framework or a template or something like that and then edit it to however I liked. I would see something and I'd be like, oh, I don't like that. I want to change it, I want to customize it. So I'd look up, oh, how do you change this? How do you change that? And there was always some sort of tutorial out there. And that was my way of learning HTML and CSS. It was a very broken way, I'm not going to lie, because I didn't have any proper structure. I didn't sort of learn from start to finish. I sort of learned different blocks within like a timeline, but it worked for me. And I think for a lot of people, it's exactly the same, because I really do believe in this idea of you learn as you do. A lot of people fall into the trap of wanting to learn as much about a skill or as much about a topic before they start actually doing that thing. And I really do think that doesn't make any sense. I know for me personally, it doesn't really make any sense because you're learning all the stuff, but you're not actually applying it. So are you really learning it? Are you really remembering it? I really do believe that the best way to learn is to do. That also leads us well into this video's free resource from HubSpot. They've put together the ultimate guide for using ChatGPT at work. It's a free 37-page PDF. It's basically a mini ebook going through how AI works and how to get the most from ChatGPT. You'll gain a comprehensive understanding of ChatGPT's capabilities and learn how to use it to your advantage. There's real-world use cases showing what it's capable of. You'll learn best practices with expert insight on how to maximize the effectiveness of ChatGPT. And there's 100 different actionable examples. They've listed a ton of different example prompts to serve as a starting point and give you inspiration for your own prompts. The prompts include email composition, content generation, customer support, data analysis, and much more. So make sure to check it out. It's completely free to download. Pillar 2 is investing. So this pillar can actually be split up into 2 sections. That's what I've written down here. Arguably, the most important investment will be investing in yourself, which of course ties back to pillar 1 as well. So there are no better returns than investing in yourself, whether that be learning new skills, expanding your horizons, and just like your health as well. Because when people get into their 20s, they start getting a bit lazier. They're sitting behind a desk all day, they're sitting on the sofa all day, not being as active. That can of course affect your health a lot. That can affect your mental health. And I feel like if it's affecting your mental health, it's going to affect other parts of your life as well. So it's very important that you do invest in yourself. Take the time to make yourself a better person. One of the best material investments that I made though was my first iMac, which I bought used. It wasn't a new machine, it was a used machine. I bought it from some random website and it was with pretty much all of my savings at the time. But it really helped kickstart my career when it comes to learning design and development, because I do think to myself, if I hadn't bought that machine, I wouldn't have learned all that sort of stuff, because I bought that machine with the full intention of, okay, I'm going to learn how to do this. I'm going to learn how to do that. I'm going to learn how to make money on the internet, and this machine is going to help me to do that. My video producer who works for me has a similar story, His best investment was buying a mirrorless camera, but it ended up helping him kickstart his freelance career, making videos for clients and things like that. And look at where he is now. Now he's working with me. We're working together on these 2 channels. And yeah, it's just amazing how if you invest in something with the intention of this is going to make my life better, that this is going to help me in the long term, it's just always worth doing. The second section of this pillar is investing in assets. So I'm not talking about Wall Street bets. I'm not talking about investing in AMD and stocks go all the way up. No. I'm not talking about anything like that. I'm talking about long-term investing in tried and tested assets such as stocks, bonds, real estate, and other similar things. My favorite assets to invest in have been stocks and real estate. However, real estate is of course hard to get into if you don't have the capital to start with, but getting invested in stocks and shares, it's actually super easy. You really don't need much money. You can start from as little as like $10, $100. You don't need tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands to invest in stocks and shares. All it takes is putting a few dollars aside every month and just regularly investing that into something like the S&P 500 or just some other sort of safe stock, which will regularly get you money or make you money or just sort of grow your money over a long period of time. And what makes this the most powerful form of investing for me personally is compounding interest. Compounding is just one of the most powerful things that I feel like a lot of people just don't appreciate enough. I also think a lot of people overcomplicate it, but it's just really simple. To put it simply, you've got to imagine a snowball going down a hill. That snowball is going to start, fist size, it's going to go down a hill. But over time, as it's rolling down that hill, it gets bigger and bigger. The surface area of that snowball is also getting bigger. So as that surface area gets bigger too, it's adding more and more snow, and you're adding more and more snow on a larger scale. And it's just going to exponentially get bigger. That's what compounding is, and your money can do exactly the same. So as an example, if you invested in an index fund like the S&P 500, which tracks the biggest 500 companies in the US, this on average after inflation goes up around 7 to 8% a year. So let's just say you put in $1,000 at the beginning of the year and the companies in the S&P 500 did quite well that year. You went up by 7%. Your money is now $1,070. Now in year 2 of investing, instead of having that $1,000, now you have $1,070, which will give you 7 or 8%. You have that extra $70 or $80 working for you. And with that compound interest of year 2, you will now make even more money in the first year. So I have a website here, which I like to use a lot. It's a compound interest calculator website. So let's just say we start with an initial investment of $1,000. It goes up by 7% every year. We'll do it over 30 years because I think that makes more sense. We'll make sure the compound interval is yearly, like so. So after 30 years, our $1,000 now is $7,600, and that's without any additional investment. That's just $1,000. Over 30 years, you have 7.5 times the money, which is just insane. Now, if you scale this up and you keep adding money and say you have a large amount of money invested, let's just say we put 100,000 in there over 7 years. So now you have 100,000 in there. Say you start at 20 years old. Now at 50 years old, you have $760,000 after 30 years without ever touching that money. Over time, if you invest in the S&P 500 and it gets these 7 to 8% that it has historically over a large period of time, that is pretty wild. But let's just say you do better than average. Let's just say you do 10%, and let's just say you're also depositing money every month. Let's say you're depositing $500 every month. So $100,000, you deposit $500 every month, 10%, 30 years. Now you have 2.7 million, which is absolutely just crazy to me. Like, that absolutely blows my mind. We can see our initial balance was 100,000. We had an additional $180,000 of deposits over 30 years. So really over 30 years, we've invested $280,000. However, that $280,000 has turned into 2.7 million. Can you imagine being 50, 60 years old? You have 2.7 million sitting in your bank account. You could take out maybe 5 to 10% a year and live very, very comfortably for the rest of your life, really. That is what makes compound interest so interesting to me and just so powerful. And that's why I think to myself, man, like, if I can make as much money as I can whilst I'm young, invest it early on, I know that as I grow older, I can still enjoy my life. All I'm doing is sort of living below my means. I can still enjoy my life. But then once I get older, I don't know when I'll die. I might die at like 80, 90. I don't want to be 70, 80, 90 years old and I'm broke and I can't afford my medical bills or whatever it might be. But with something like this, with a safety net, it can be so useful. That's something where if you start building it early in your 20s, it will put you far ahead of everyone else. And it's something that I wish I had started even earlier, because I only really started investing properly when I was 25, 26, I think. Can't remember, 25, 26, maybe 24, something like that. But if I had started when I was 20 or even 18, when I turned 18, I feel like I'd be so much further ahead than I am now. Pillar 3 is handling lifestyle creep. So naturally, as you get a new job, as you earn more money, because you see that money in your account, because you see more money in your account, you feel like, oh, I've got to spend that money. I have more money available to me, which I can spend maybe on fancy designer gear, a nicer car, a new phone, or whatever it might be. Lifestyle creep is an absolute killer, and I've seen so many people fall for it because they just think to themselves, oh, I'm earning more money now, that means I can spend more money, which really doesn't make sense, because even though you're earning more money, you're just spending it straight away as well. So it's not really adding too much to your life. Some great advice from a billionaire hedge fund manager is don't focus on making money, focus on protecting what you have. Instead of constantly upgrading your lifestyle, you should be using a portion of that money and putting it into savings and investments, just helping it grow. Like that compound interest calculator that I showed earlier, maybe putting more money away into your investments because you'll have even more money in the future. Of course, it's all about living below your means. Now, that doesn't mean you're the absolute god of frugality and you start coupon cutting and things like that, but you just put a lot more emphasis on making sure that more money is going to savings and investments. The money that you do spend does actually bring value in your life in some way or another. You're not just using that extra money and upgrading your lifestyle constantly. Another great method to reduce lifestyle creep is from George Claeson's book, The Richest Man in Babylon. This is the philosophy of paying yourself first. Essentially what this is that when you get your salary every month, rather than going out and spending everything immediately, you rather automate your investments, savings, and expenses. What you could do is that maybe you set your investment account to direct debit $100 on the first of every month, or whenever your salary hits the account. You can also do this for your savings account and any essential expenses that you need to be paid each month. You then allocate any spending money that you want to use for your lifestyle, that you want to use to enjoy yourself, whatever else, because you've already taken care of the important stuff. You've already taken care of your investments, your savings, your bills. All of that money has already been put aside. That takes care of your life. Now, any extra money that you have, you can use that to enjoy yourself. One very common quote which I love and resonates with me a lot is that people spend money they don't have to buy things they don't need to impress people they don't like. I have a 3-rule checklist when it comes to material objects. As long as it ticks one of these, it's worth making the purchase. The first one is this purchase going to make me money? The second is this purchase going to bring me long-term happiness and comfort? For example, quality clothing, I might spend a bit of extra money for a wool or cashmere sweater, or I might spend a bit of extra money on comfortable, long-lasting shoes. And the third one is this purchase going to make my life easier? So for example, spending $3,000 on a laptop to a lot of people is outrageous. That's a lot of money. But for me, it's well worth spending that $3,000 because it literally makes my life easier. It makes my work easier. It makes my everything that I do, so much that I do, a lot of my life is through this laptop, and spending that $3,000 for me is just well worth the money. Pillar 4, taking calculated risks. If you have entrepreneurial aspirations, then your 20s are a prime time to be testing and establishing a business. This period of your life, you have a lot of time, you usually have no responsibilities, you most likely maybe don't have kids, you're still living at home, you don't have a mortgage, you don't have big bills or anything like that. So you can use this time to take a few more risks that you otherwise wouldn't be able to do when you're a bit older. If you're pursuing a traditional career, you've got to think hard and long about whether this traditional career that you're pursuing has growth in it, whether when you get into your 30s and 40s, are you going to be able to continually grow in that job, make more money and increase your wealth? Because you most likely don't want to fall into the trap of just doing the same thing day in, day out, and not really growing as a person, not really growing your wealth, not really growing your money. So it's important to think about, if you are going for a normal 9 to 5, can this job actually grow with you? In my late teens and my early 20s, I knew that I could take risks. I knew that I could start businesses and stuff. And even when that was all working for me, even when I was making $20,000 to $30,000 a month, I still didn't even move out for like another 2 or 3 years. I continued paying the low rent at home because I knew stashing away as much money as I could can help me further in the future. I just lived well below my means. Then when I had saved enough, I went straight to buying a house that can pretty much be my forever home. The house I live in now, I don't technically ever have to move out. I could stay in that house forever and be happy. It's the perfect size, it has enough space and everything. I could have kids in that house, I could have a family in that house. I can be completely happy in that house. And that was my aim. My aim was, if I'm going to buy a house, I might as well do it properly. If I'm earning as much money as I can, instead of jumping from living with my parents into an apartment or a flat or something, and then to maybe like a smaller house, I thought I'd try and go for the biggest house that I could with the money that I had, because I knew that for me in the long run it would be better, and it really has been better. Me waiting those few years instead of just quickly moving out has really helped me build that base in my 20s. Number 5 is embracing multiple income streams. So this is a really important one, as you see time and time again that wealthy people always have multiple income streams. Number 1 is financial stability. Diversifying income sources reduces a reliance on a single income stream or a single job, and it can offer you protection against sort of economic downturns and unexpected job losses or whatever else. It just helps you create a financial safety net. Multiple income streams can also accelerate savings and investments. So by utilizing the power of compounding interest that I spoke about earlier, starting this in your 20s can provide you a significant head start for your financial goals. And the more money you can have compounding earlier on, the more wealth you'll have in the future. Number 3 is skill diversification. So instead of falling into the rut of just knowing one thing and knowing one way to make money, having and managing various income streams can help you have different skills, can help you manage different things and just have more knowledge. This diversification can also enhance your adaptability in changing job markets, increase your skill set, and offer opportunities for personal and professional growth. Multiple income streams doesn't necessarily mean multiple jobs or multiple businesses that you have to run. You could have one main way of making money, and then maybe use the money from that main way of making money to make money from other things like stocks and shares or like real estate. So for example, one of my main income streams is my tech YouTube channel. I do have another channel that isn't this channel, and on that tech YouTube channel I have other side things like my digital products and like my affiliate income, which make money with very little effort, but they are another source of income. They go alongside that channel. Pillar 6 is recognizing the value of time. So when you're in your 20s, you have more time than you can imagine. I feel like it's actually probably the most powerful pillar out of all the pillars that I mentioned in this video. Your 20s aren't just about making money. Of course, making money is an important factor, but it's also important that you're laying the foundation for your future self. You've got to cherish the value of time that you have right now and avoid distractions like social media. And remember that wealth isn't solely defined by money. It is also defined by experiences, growth, and impact. When I was diagnosed with cancer 3 years ago, I was 27 years old. It obviously turned my life completely upside down. But one of the big things, one of the big learnings that I had from my cancer at that age is how important my time was. I realized that that's something that you really just don't get back. Once time is spent, it really has gone. You can't just buy back more time. I realized I needed to stop spending time on things that didn't really bring value into my life. Now, that doesn't mean I turn into a monk and I just work all the time. I'm always productive. I'm always doing something super, super important. No, not at all. It just means doing stuff that I actually enjoy. So playing video games. I love playing video games. I still play video games nearly every day, really. A lot of people will see that as wasted time. But for me, it's a way of disconnecting from work, and it's also a way of socializing for me because I play with my friends. That's really the only time I actually play video games. As long as other parts of your life are in order, there is nothing wrong with spending time playing video games or just doing anything else that brings you happiness or brings you value in your life. The most important thing is having a balance. Your time is valuable. Your time is special. Your time, you're never going to get it back. But you don't want to be working all the time. You want to work a good amount of time. Use that time where you're working and use it to the best that you possibly can. But then also have the time off. Enjoy your life. Take advantage of the time you have. Appreciate the things that you already have because it's limited. It's not going to be there forever. So understanding how valuable time is can really put things into perspective of, okay, is this something that's really going to help me? Is this something that's really going to make me happy? Is this something that's going to help me in the future? So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys enjoyed these 6 pillars that I think can help you build a base in your 20s, both financially and sort of personal development. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter and subscribe for more.